Hey guys, it's Liz, just here today to share a couple projects with you. My sister's birthday's coming up on the 31st, and I wanted to create something personal, of course, so that I can send her a gift. And what I decided to do is I had this really cool frame that my friend Barb gave me. Thanks, Barb! And this is one of those frames, I think it's like MDF, and she got it at Hobby Lobby. And it's really cool. I like how the picture is angled. And so I thought that would be a great gift to personalize it for my sister and send it to her for her birthday. And of course, I always make a card to coordinate with the project. So I'm going to show you the card first. And I think you guys might recognize the paper. This is the Prima Engraver collection. And, you know, it's an old one, but a good one. I love it. I have a couple of paper pads. And so I decided to use it on my card and my frame. So for the card, I started off with just a black cardstock base. The card is 4.5 by 6 inches. And basically what I did is I just took layers of the pattern paper from the Engraver collection and I layered one over the other. There's 3 different sheets, but you know, one of them is getting covered up here. I did a lot of distressing on the edges. I wanted a really grungy, distressed look. My sister's she's not a girly girl at all. Does not like pinks or, you know, girly colors. That's why I wanted to keep it neutral, but still, you know, give it like a feminine touch, but I wanted it to be grungy, and it's just right up her alley, so. And then what I did, you know, I did layer all the papers, like I said. I used some foam tape in between to give it dimension. And all the edges are distressed. On this sheet here, I took little pieces from another sheet that I tore off, if you can see here. These are just some of the pieces that I adhered to the paper. And then what I did is I gave it a coat of gesso, a very light coat of gesso, just to kind of give it like a whitewash look. And then I went to town using my inks. I used vintage photo. I used some black soot on the edges to make them stand out. And then I also took some black paint that I diluted with a couple of drops of water, and I created lots of splatters. Hope you guys are able to see that. That's just with, you know, black acrylic paint. And then, of course, I wanted lots of different, you know, textures on this card, since, you know, I wasn't going to have a lot of girly, feminine touches. And so what I did here is I created a lot of texture using some modeling paste and this really cool stencil by Tim Holtz. It's one of his new ones. Let me show you which one I used. It's this one here, the layering stencil, and I think this is called the dot fade. Oops, sorry about the glare, but it's a dot fade. Really, really cool stencil, you guys. And so I just used the modeling paste. I created, you know, some of these little dots here and there. You guys can see some of them. Of course, they get covered up. And then I also used some stamps. I used some stamps by Prima, and I think it's like a little chicken wire stamp or something like that. But that's one of it here. And there's some more stamping going on in the background. And then I did a lot of fussy cutting. I fussy cut this from one of the papers from the Engraver collection, this ruler, and it just goes all the way across. And also this little piece of lace, and it's also by Prima. It's really pretty. I think it added like a, you know, a really cute little feminine touch without being overly girly, so it's perfect. And that trim goes all the way across as well. And of course I have some gears. These large gears here are chipboard gears from Saw Crafter's shop. And what I did to them is I painted them using puffy paint. I used these puffy paint by, this one you get at Michael's. It's just scribbles. And this color is called golden brown, and I'm sorry if it's not focusing, but I like working with the puffy paint because it creates a really cool texture, and it has like a really nice metallic sheen. And I just used my fingers and I painted the chipboard gears with the metallic paint. I let that dry, and then I inked it with vintage photo. I used vintage photo and distress powders, you know, the embossing powders on that. And it's just a really cool texture, you guys. It looks rusty, and you know, you can see a lot of the texture. And then I took some black soot all over the edges, also a little bit of black gesso with my finger, and then just rubbed it onto the gears. So the gears came out really cool. They just look like really grungy metallic gears that you can find like, you know, at the junkyard, and it's just perfect. So I have 2 gears there. And then these are the Engraver flowers. These are from the Engraver collection, of course. And I just basically used a little bit of black gesso just on some of the tips. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. Let's see, like right there. Because they were already perfect. They've got a little bit of sparkle to them. I think it's got like, you know, that, oh gosh, I forget what it's called. Diamond dust. It looks like diamond dust to me, so it just has that already. Over here is a fussy cut piece from one of the papers, and it's like a little $50 piece, like a little bond paper, so it's, you know, tucked behind the gear. Here I fussy cut some flowers from the collection. And this is a fussy cut clock from the collection. This is a flower from my stash that I inked with the black soot and a black gesso on the petals. And here's a little black one from my stash, and this one I inked with white gesso to bring it out more, so it wouldn't, you know, hide too much since it's a dark color. So it's really cute. I think it came out really nice. Very, very grungy. And over here I just created, like, you know, the little sentiment, and it says smile. And these are just little alpha stickers from a different Prima collection. I think this is from the Printery collection. And some of the letters I just used some foam tape to make them stand out a little bit. And it's just a smile. So it's really cute. I'm very happy with my card. It's very grungy, and I think it's just perfect for her. The inside is pretty simple. I just cut down a piece of pattern paper. I adhered it to the inside, and I'm going to have plenty of room here to write my message to my sister, wishing her a happy birthday. So that is my card. I really like the way it came out. I hope she likes it too. I think it's so perfect for her. And so now let me show you the big thing, and which is a frame. Like I said, this frame was given to me by Barb. Thank you so much, Barb. Finally got to use it, and it just came out really, really cool, you guys. I'm very happy with this piece. Now let me tell you what I did. I had the 6x6 paper pad, the Engraver paper pad. I have the 12x12 sheets, but I only have about 3 sheets. And unfortunately, they're the ones that have like a lot of elements on it, so it was too busy for me. So what I decided to do, I took about 5 or 6 different sheets from the 6x6 paper pad, and I just tore them to bits. And what I did is I adhered all the torn bits all over the frame. I'm going to show you an overview of the whole thing. And just so you could see it on the sides, you'll probably be able to see it better on the back, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But see, this is what I did. Since, like I said, I only have really the 6x6 pad to work with. So as you can see, it's just a bunch of, you know, torn pieces of paper. I adhered them all on there with some Mod Podge. I did seal it with Mod Podge. I sanded it real good with, you know, the sanding block. I gave it a nice coat of gesso, let that dry, gave it a second coat of gesso. I really wanted a whitewash effect because I wanted the background to be sort of neutral, you know, so I can have a lot of fun playing with the different textures and different inks, things like that. I didn't want it to be too busy and take away from all that. So, you know, after I applied the coats of gesso and I let that dry really good, I then took like a wet cloth and I rubbed some of the gesso off. And I hope you guys are able to see that. See, like right here is a perfect spot where some of the gesso is completely off the papers. So you can see more of the color from the paper underneath. And see, there's some spots right there. And it just gives it like a really grungy look. See? Really, really cool, you guys. I love the way that this turned out. Really awesome. I really hope my sister likes it. I think she will. And again, the same thing. I used the modeling paste with the Tim Holtz stencil. Hope you guys are able to see that. Lots of black paint splattered all around. Some vintage photo ink. Lots of black soot ink, especially around the frame. I really wanted to frame the picture. That's going to go in here. And let me see. Also, what I did, I took some picket fence crackle paint. And what I did is I used a lot of that paint on the corners and all along the edges of the frame, just to create, you know, more texture, lots of cracks, and like I said, just the really, really grungy feel. Loving the way it came out. I've got some stuff on that. I'm going to paint over that so it doesn't look so messy. But very, very cool. I love it. And so, okay, so that's the back. I just wanted to show you in, you know, better detail so you guys could see everything that I did, because I know the front's kind of busy, so it's hard to see everything that you do in the background once you embellish it. But this is the front. I love it. And I took the glass off. You know, obviously she can put a picture in there of her family, her girls, but I took the glass off to make the video so I wouldn't have that crazy glare. So anyways, as far as the front, it's the same as the back, you guys. Just a bunch of little pieces of torn paper, all that gesso, lots of inking. You can see some of the crackle paint in the corners. Look how cool it looks, right? And again, you know, I used vintage photo on there, some black soot. There you could see some of the stenciling that I did with the Tim Holtz stencil. I love those layering stencils. They're so fun to work with. and lots of fussy cut elements. And then over here, if you guys can see that, all around the frame where the picture's going to go, that's really where I wanted to emphasize some of the stamping that I did all around it. And I darkened the edges to make sure, you know, whenever she puts a picture in there, that's what you're going to see, you know, it's going to be focused. So there's lots of ink all around it. Very cool. And the gears basically are the same thing that I did with the card, you guys. These are just chipboard gears from Sawcrafter's shop, and they're huge. I love these big ones. And I just, you know, use the puffy paint, use some vintage photo ink, the distress powders, which come out so cool. Look at that, awesome texture. And then I grunged them up some more with some black gesso, some black soot ink, really, really cool. Of course, I've got some Engraver flowers, and the petals have a little bit of black gesso on top. And let's see, I'm going to, over here, hopefully you guys are able to see that. You see that metal piece here? This is the number 3. And I think it's one of those charms from like Industrial Chic from Michaels. And I took the number 3 and I have it there. And the reason I did that, I'll show you in a minute. Over here, I fussy cut the 1 out of one of the papers because her birthday's on the 31st. So 3 and a 1, 31st. So I've got that tucked in underneath. I've got some fussy cut bingo card, some fussy cut tickets from the paper, and I just tucked them behind the gear. And then you see the little flowers, I fussy cut those from one of the papers as well. And I really love how you can see the stem sling in the background, really cool. Up there is another gear, and it just looks really, really awesome. I've got a fussy cut clock over here in the background. Here's one of the little black flowers from my stash with a little bit of gesso on top. And then over here I've got one of those light bulbs, it's a Prima light bulb, and this one says Enjoy. There, I think you guys can see that. And I titled this Enjoy Life. So I've got the Enjoy here, and then the Scrabble tile down here spell out life. So I thought that was a really cool title. So, you know, whatever picture she's going to show on display, it's going to be awesome because it's going to display, you know, it's going to portray her enjoying life, or her and her kids and whatever. So very, very cool. And down here I've got another fussy cut ruler from the paper collection. It comes all the way across. Over here I've got another cute little gear, little chipboard gear. Here I've got some more fussy cut elements. These are some little leaves from the Engraver collection. I've got a little washer over here. This is just a little washer from hubby's toolbox. And I just grunged up using some Rub and Buff in black. I rubbed it on there real good. I've got another washer down here. Okay. And then, of course, you could see all the beautiful textures from the modeling paste, the awesome crackle in the corners, lots of the paint splattering. You can see some of the ink technique. And then I love how you could see, you know, random spots of the paper right underneath that. It looks really cool because it almost looks like another, like, you know, more stamping was done in the background. It looks really cool. And like I said, over here for my title, it just says Life, and I used some Scrabble tiles that I grunged up using some black gesso just to give them a more dirty look, you know, so really cool. Over here on this side, I've got a fussy cut clock from the Engraver collection. I've got some more gears with the distress embossing powder on there. You can see some of the stamping that I did in the background from that Prima stamp. Got another flower from my stash. Down over here, it's kind of hidden away, but it's like a little fussy cut key from the Engraver collection. It goes all the way across, and I've got another gear underneath here. And then here you can see the modeling paste and the crackle. I love this. Look how cool that looks, right? The crackle looks awesome. What I did, I gave it like a really thick coat, you know, and as it started to crack, I used my heat tool, and it gave it more like these big lumpy cracks, almost like it's, you know, like the earth when it doesn't rain for a long time and it starts to crack like that. Love it. Love the way it looks. And let's see if I missed anything. Oh, over here is just a little fussy cut flower from the Engraver collection. It's tucked over here. Another gear up here. You can see more stenciling and stamping. And then up here, I love this butterfly. Look how cool, right? I created this butterfly using these stamps that I have. Let me show you the stamp set. It's really cool. I got it a Tuesday morning a while back, you guys. And it's all about wings. It's such an awesome stamp set. Look at this. Sorry if you have a glare, but it's just wings. Butterfly wings, angel wings, dragonfly. It's awesome. I used this stamp here, and all I did is I just stamped it onto one of the pattern papers, that had a less busy background. And I used some black ink, distressed ink. Oops, sorry, it's not focusing. There we go. And then I used vintage photo on the edges, some black soot on the edges, and I used distressed stickles in vintage photo. It looks really, really cool. Very, very grungy. And then, of course, for its body, I just used one of the little Timmy light bulbs. It looks really cool. And that's it. And I made sure that when I adhered the wings on there that, you know, they were looking like it's going to take flight. So they're not flat. They're quite dimensional on there. Looks really cool. I love it. I am so happy with the way that this turned out. It is so grungy, and I think it's just absolutely perfect for her style. You know, she's not a girly girl at all, and I really, really hope she loves this. So, and I was going to have a picture of Steve Buscemi. She loves Steve Buscemi, but my printer isn't working, so I left this blank. So, Claudia, you could put whatever you want in there, okay? And like I said, I took the glass out, but it does come with a piece of glass that, you know, you can tuck in there. And that's it, you guys. So that is my frame. I had so much fun creating this. It was such an awesome, awesome project. I love how grungy it came out. I love all the textures, the color, everything. Let me see if I can make this stand up again. I just really love it. And it's my second time working with the Engraver collection. And now I have an extra pad thanks to Barb. So I'm so excited. I can use as much as I want. So anyways, guys, those are my projects. I hope you like them. Go ahead and leave me a question or a comment if you have one. I really do appreciate them, and I try to get back to everyone just as fast as I can. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you like my projects. I'll see y'all real soon. Bye-bye.